Welcome to episode 9 of Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. Let's do a quick recap of last time. We met Drott, we said goodbye to Drott, Frieren sliced and diced him like a god-dang cheese grater. Bro is pretty much done for, I think. We did see Frieren do some action last time. You know, she got singled out by Drott, who thought he was him, but the only him that we know of is Himmel. And then we know that Frieren obviously escaped the dungeon after that, and we know that the guard was unfortunately killed due to Drott using his magical mana wires to slice and dice him. We also learned that Graf Granite, who his name is Granite, but he's the Graf, which is apparently German nobility. I didn't rewatch the episode, but I rewatched my video when I was editing, and I realized they kept calling him the Graf instead of Graf, and I was like, the Graf? And then I finally listened to some of the things about Grafs. I'm going to keep calling him Graf by accident, I'm sorry. I learned, alright? That's all that matters. I learned. Also, Frieren looking mighty destructive in this photo. If you know, you know. We met Lini. She and Lügner got absolutely demolished by Fern. Unfortunately, Stark did not perform, but I mean, he was just there to keep them busy while Fern was... that's another thing. I have a couple theories I'm going to talk about in just a second, but I have a feeling that magic is not instantaneous, because we've seen it a few times that when they use the offensive spells, they have to wait a certain amount of time. We saw it with Qual, remember, when Fern had to use the defensive spell and Frieren had to prepare her spell. Stark needs to keep the dragon busy for 30 seconds so she can get ready to use her spells. Stark kept them busy, so I'm assuming Fern could power up her spell to use against Lügner and Lini. In my mind, I'm thinking, why is that? You know, obviously there might be like a cooldown system, or I don't know how the magic system works in Frieren just yet. There's a lot of different ways you can do magic in these type of fantasy settings, so I guess we'll see. I assume the spells vary, because we've heard her say, a few times with the 30 seconds or whatever, or they have to wait a few seconds before she can use the attack. So we saw that Fern and Stark ran into her, and then she decided that she would go off and fight Aura the Guillotine, which Stark and Fern do not know, as far as we know. But that's what she's going off to do. Well, that's what we assume she's going off to do. It's how she made it sound before. At the very end, she was like, I sense mana like 10 kilometers away or something. I don't remember her exact words. But yeah, anyways, we learned that Flame creates these barriers around the towns to protect them from demons. They are magical barriers. You can open and close them, at least according to Granite. So I guess we'll see if that's possible. Remember, he had the necklace around his neck, so we'll see if that's possible. I don't know. But he is still alive. Obviously, he was saved by Stark and Fern with that big magic blast to Lügner, and then we ended by learning that Frieren is a badass, dude. She is the Slayer. We learned at the end that apparently Frieren is so goddamn powerful that she has Sloan. Is Sloan a word? Sloan. She has slew more demons in history than anybody else. Now, I didn't mention it specifically in the video because I thought that was a given. That's pretty obvious, because her hatred for demons mixed with her age, which is 1,000+ years old, mixed with the 10 years that they went with Himmel on his journey, plus, them defeating essentially the Demon King, who I'm assuming is the most powerful demon in the land. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, obviously she slew the most demons in history. I mean, who else could it have been? Himmel? Himmel was alive for like 70 years, dude. What could he have done in 70 years that Frieren, the goddamn, I want to say, I'm not calling her racist. She hates the demons, though. Like, it is unprecedented, the amount of hate. That's a joke, by the way. I saw a meme. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Apparently, Frieren is a racist on the internet. I don't partake in her hatred purely. I am just a bystander. I have my opinions on the demons, right? Dude, the allegations are true, guys. Please, this is my apology video. No, I have my opinions on the demons. I don't hate them just yet. I don't think I've learned enough about them to see everything that they've done that humans couldn't have done, right? Or that another race could have equally done just as bad as they could just be pure evil. I don't know. Everything I say, a lot of what I say is speculation, but currently I don't hate them. I just have a weird middle ground take where I don't think they're pure evil. I don't think they're pure good, I think that there is some sense of separation. I think that somewhere along the line, we're going to see some type of like branching off into different demon types where they have like a certain personality, but I don't think they're all like purely evil incarnate. I think I joked about it last time, but currently I'm unsure. I got to learn more, basically, is what I'm saying. And it seems like we're getting more into the demons experience and more into their lore, so I will probably change how I perceive the demons as time goes on. I will probably create opinions, but I don't have anything that is like definitive now. That's why I can switch up so easy, because I don't know enough about them. Like, are they pure evil? Maybe they're the worst thing in all of Frieren. Maybe they are so evil that I should just hate them. Maybe But in my mind, I don't know enough about them. But Frieren, on the other hand, in her thousands of years that she's probably been alive, dude, she has come to the conclusion of her hatred, and she is she is drowning in that hatred, and I don't blame her for it. I mean, we've seen what the demons can do. I think that I have a very strong dislike for the demons, but at the same time, I don't think that they have convinced me yet to be purely evil. I think that they have a strong evil presence, and I think that they can do a lot of evil things, but I don't believe that that demons are the embodiment of evil just yet. I'm still getting there. Frieren, on the other hand, might be a little bit of a... So, I have 3 theories here. I've already gone over one of them, which is why is Frieren taking so long to actually attack. That kind of goes with Fern too, and I think that a big thing with it is due to how magic works in this universe and them having to pull their mana to... Like, when you use your ability in, like, World of Warcraft, I hate using that as an example. A lot of your attacks don't happen immediately. They take time to build up, and you have to use them, like, you have to conjure, right? So I'm thinking it's kind of like that. So I think that makes a lot of sense. That is a common fantasy trope. Also, I've seen multiple fantasy tropes where magic is based on, it doesn't have a type of like timer. I know I'm doing a bad job of explaining it. I've already gone over it. That theory is not important. The 2 theories that are important are kind of the same thing, but it's mainly focused on Fern and Himmel, or Stark and Himmel, Fern and Flame. So in this universe, I wonder if reincarnation is possible. And if it is Fern the reincarnation of Flame? And here's the second theory. Is Stark the reincarnation of Himmel? Here's why I believe this. Multiple times they've called Fern a genius, and now we know that Flame is a genius too. The Himmel and Stark one's a stretch. I don't know that one as well, but I'm just saying, since I thought that Fern is a reincarnation, I just threw Himmel and Stark in there just to kind of make the theory sound a little bit more possible. Now that they called Frieren a genius as well, maybe now it's kind of like in the back burner. I don't think it's actually true, but I do think that'd be interesting. That's a very common thing in a lot of cultures, so maybe it's possible that the reincarnation of, you know, Flame and Himmel are possible here. That one's a little crazy, though. It is a little crazy. I get it. But it could be possible. I'm just saying. Those are my only theories right now. I'll probably have more next episode. If I don't, I'm kind of fine putting off the theories a little bit more. Okay, I've been talking too long. We got to get into the episode. I'm sorry. I got to stop with the info dumps at the beginning. I'm so sorry. So today we're probably fighting Aura the Guillotine, with Frieren being the main fighter. Or, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know. I'm excited to see what she does. I'm so sorry for the long info dump. This one was crazy. I got to cut this one down. My God, 20 minutes of info dumping here at the beginning. I was going to make today's episode kind of short too, because I've been making them like an hour long. But here we go with the longest info dump yet. All right. Remember to like the video. Subscribe too for more Frieren videos coming soon. Okay. So it's continuing from last time, looking out the window with Lügner. Yeah. So we pretty much have already seen that. Let's go. Frieren the Mage, who has slew more demons than anyone in history. Okay. Okay, it is good to see that Granite's still alive, though. Stark seems fine. My boy. Oh, that's so nice of you, Granite. Oh, he's gonna pardon Frieren. I was worried about that. I was trying to pause and I hit the mute button. My bad. It seems like Frieren is being pardoned, which is really nice. I just want to say, someone told me that apparently she is a rule follower. She likes to follow the rules. The only time she doesn't follow the rules is when demons are involved. That is like a D1 hater. My God. Okay. No. I'm not going to hate on Frieren because I don't disagree, because based on her experiences, what we've seen in her life throughout her life, like, I completely understand her hatred. I don't blame her, but it seems like Stark wants to use her to defeat Lügner, which I don't think that's going to really work out for you, Stark. I don't know why Stark, I feel like he could have done more against Lügner, but I think maybe in his mind, he was holding back a little bit to give Fern her chance. I don't know how well I don't know if demons can actually be beat by physical attacks like Stark's. I don't know. We have not seen a demon be struck down by a physical attack yet, have we? I mean, we saw Granite fight, but obviously he didn't strike either of the demons, so we have no idea if that's possible. I'm assuming it is. Yeah, let's keep going, but that'll be something to look out for. He remembers! Let's go, Granite. I'm glad you remember that. So another thing that I want to mention as well is it seems like last episode, I put a lot of emphasis on people not remembering Frieren or knowing who Frieren is. I can forgive Granite. It's been 80 years. She's a legend to him. She is a fairy tale to him that existed, before his lifetime. Lügner, on the other hand, I'm not forgiving. I mean, you guys can't be serious if you expect me to forgive Lügner. I mean, bro was there. Literally, she standed right in front of him on the corpses of all of his allies, and you're telling me he forgot who Frieren was until right then and there, until he saw something that looks no, I'm not accepting that. That makes no sense. I forgive Granite because to him it is a fairy tale. It is lore of the world. It's okay to forget him. It's okay to forget all these heroes from from past times, before his life started, before he joined the Granite family as this noble soldier. I say joined, he was probably born into it, but you know what I mean. But it's like, not Lügner. He literally stared her in the eyes as she was covered in the blood of his allies, and you're telling me Lügner forgot her until just then? Are you telling me this guy, Lügner, not who's on screen? I gotta start saying their names more, don't I, so you guys don't think I'm talking about Granite. Granite's not a demon, don't worry. Or is it? No, not a theory. That's not a theory. I'm just joking. I can't get behind Lügner. I'm sorry. You guys could give me a million reasons, but I just can't get behind Lügner not remembering Frieren. It just doesn't make sense to me. If I'm at war with someone for, I'm assuming, hundreds of years, or at least dozens of years, or even if it's a few months, like if you stand on a pile of corpses in front of me, dude, I can't forget that. I feel like either he's lying or he's just, you know what? I'm actually getting a little heated here. Lügner, dude, just remember who your enemies are. So we assume that there was a battle between Aura and Frieren at some point as well, right? We assume this based on everything we've learned up to this point. So now, is Aura going to remember Frieren, or are we going to have another situation where these demons are just stupid as... I need to find my inner peace. Let's go, dude. Now let's see if she remembers. Are you kidding me? She remembers. Why am I upset that she remembers? That's what I wanted. She cute though. Oh god, wait. She's at least 80, right? Inner peace. Okay, so it seems like she's fighting the same demons as before, according to Granite. And now we're meeting Aura, who has, if I must say, like 0 aura. Now, I will say this before I go too deep into it. I'm assuming that Frieren did not fight them alone, because the way that Granite spoke, he said the hero party, so I'm assuming it was, or the party of heroes, I'm assuming it was all of them. You know, Himmel, Heiter, Eisen, Frieren, the whole shebang, who fought the army a long time ago, and I assume Frieren just did the most damage. She had the highest DPS. That's what I'm assuming. They all fought at the same time, so maybe Frieren did do the most damage, but can she solo an entire army with Aura? But she remembers, though. Aura remembers. Lügner, why are you just... Bro, we literally saw Lügner in the flashback of when she slew them. You know, it's just... Oh my god. Okay, whatever. Anyways, let me keep going. But I do want to clarify, I know that it's been 80 years. I know that, 50 years since Himmel, or 50 years between their adventure, plus 30 years from when Himmel died. Or roughly around there. I understand that. I'm not saying that people can't forget. If I lived 80 years, I'd probably forget a hell of a lot of stuff. That's why I've forgiven Granite. I'm not upset at Granite. I don't think Granite was wrong. I don't think, honestly, even Drop may not have been wrong. He seemed pretty young. I don't know how aging works with demons. But on the other hand, well, I mean, I kind of know how aging, look at Aura. She probably looked the same 80 years ago, so maybe demons age way slower. Maybe they don't age at all. My point being in this whole thing is I feel like Frieren, of everyone in the heroes party, should have been remembered regardless to all the people who were alive or who faced her all those years ago. This is her second time fighting these demons, according to Granite, so I'm assuming that she kind of already knows how to deal with it. And she's probably, honestly, increased in power, because all those years ago, when they sealed Qual, they didn't use Zoltrak, so I wonder what kind of offensive magic that... That's a good question. I didn't mention that before, did I? I wonder what kind of offensive magic they used. Maybe it was weaker or different, because they didn't use Zoltrak all the way back then. So what kind of offensive magic did they use? I don't know. I'm sure we'll see it at some point, right? I wanted to watch it again. I accidentally hit the up arrow key. I don't know why that was so cool to me. That was just such a cool turn of events. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue. Lore drop. Okay. Humanity's magic can never dream of reaching... So are you saying that demon magic is more powerful than humanity's magic? Or are you just saying it in terms of control? Because before this, she mentioned that the demon magic is what's controlling all of these, quote, puppets. So I'm wondering if she's talking purely about it from controlling standpoint of humanity's magic being able to control another being or some type of army or some type of physical being, or is it speaking more from a power standpoint of... Let's talk about hot sauce for a second, right? Not Kelvin, that's a temperature. Guys, tell me what it's called. The scale from the hot to hot. What's the scale? Kaleidoscope. No, what is it called? The Scoville. It's the Scoville scale. Okay, here we go. I got a picture of the Scoville scale. I can't save this or show it to you guys. I'm sorry. So we got 0 to 16 million. Okay, it's called the Scoville heat units. So what I'm thinking is humanity's magic is around Carolina Reaper, which is like 2.2 million. And then we're talking, 5.3 million or maybe up to the 16 million pure capskazin. I don't know what that... Anyways, so we're talking between like the 10 milli mark. This is like a Carolina Reaper versus like police pepper spray, it looks like. Does any of this make sense to anybody here? Now I'm more confused. It says 11 million. Oh no, it says T1 million. What does T1 million mean in this scale? What was I talking? Oh, humanity's magic. Yeah. So humanity's magic is weaker than demon magic here is what Frieren is kind of implying. So I want to learn more about the flame situation too. Because remember, we kind of got an idea that flame either created or was heavily involved in the creation of humanity's magic. What are we thinking, chat? God damn it, I'm not streaming. I'm too online. I gotta get off the internet a little bit. This is all just getting interesting. I know. That's not surprising to me either, because I think of this in a sense of like, think of a magic user and think of a necromancer, right? It's pretty known or well known that in most fantasy tropes, if you're a magic user, you never practice necromancy because raising the dead is a disgusting, vile act that can shun you from various, magic circles. I think a really good example of this would be like Orochimaru from Naruto. Somebody corrected me last time about my Kaguya reference. Valid. It's been a while since I watched Shippuden. It's been a while since I've watched Naruto, but Orochimaru was essentially this vile creature that, yes, I said creature, and that is correct. If you know, you know. If you read the manga, you know. You know what Orochimaru did if you read the manga. But they did things to create and learn certain jutsu that were either forbidden or very vile. And I think that might be a similar thing here, where Aura and demons have created this magic. I don't know if it's based off of humanity's magic, or if it's just like a different variation of humanity's magic, or if maybe humanity's magic is based off demons' magic. I don't know. But my point being, one seems to be a side that doesn't have any type of necromancy. They don't create vile or horrific manifestations, or they don't utilize their mana for these things that are known to be ethically bad. All right, and then the other side is the opposite, of where ethics, morals don't matter. The only thing that matters is power. That is what I'm getting from this. And I like how Frieren is kind of pointing that out here a little bit. But it also does say here that, just how powerful Aura really is, being able to control this many guards or this many entities. I don't know what to call them, because I think they may be dead guards, and I think this may be a form of necromancy, maybe. But I could also be wrong. These could be kind of like soulless suits. I don't know. We have to learn more about it, but it is a very powerful demonic army is what we're getting at, and what Frieren has said multiple times. But I do believe that it's possibly undead guards, just without their heads or their bodies. I don't know. Maybe they control their soul. I'm not sure. That's the Granite family necklace. I didn't recognize the other ones immediately. I don't know if we've seen them before in Frieren, but that's the Granite family necklace, I think. Am I wrong in that? The grandfather. Oh my god, Granite said his grandfather fought in the war versus the demons. Is this, so I was right. These are dead guards or dead. Oh, okay, wait, hold up. I got to get more into this, but if that's true, that means over the past 80 years, Aura has essentially taken everyone who has died in that time period and risen them up to be in her army. I don't know if everyone, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. Frieren is basically saying that she's about to commit a mass event against these demons right here. I'm also noticing that the army is different. It's not Lügner, it's not Draught, it's not Linie, it's not Aura. The army is, I think, a necromantic, I don't know if necromantic is a word, but I'm using it because I like how it sounds. A necromantic army. An army that she is utilizing for these purposes to attack the town and to do horrific, terrible things. But I don't think any of them are actually demons. I think that you could consider them demons, maybe. It's how she's, because she's using her power to possess them, but maybe they were humans and she's now possessing them. Because if you remember when, in the flashback when Frieren was standing on the corpses in front of Lügner, they were all distinct demons. They all had horns. They all had some form of identification, right, to verify that they were a demon or some type of creature. These are not. These are soulless suits of armor who I believe have maybe human souls attached to them. Let's just push forward. I'm getting too into this. I was kind of right. Guys, okay, so remember one of my theories before? I said that can Lügner, or not Lügner, but I said can the demons, do they have a spell or some type of thing that can potentially have humans control them or have them obey her or obey them? Because I didn't know who Aura was at the time. But like in terms of in person, I didn't know who she was. But I don't remember if we got the dungeon scene with Frieren talking about her before or after that. But that really clears up something. That was one of my theories. So it's correct. Just not in the way I thought it was, but it is correct. So demons do have the ability to force others to obey them. But it seems like maybe only Aura. Maybe that's... So we learn that each demon has like a specific spell or spell type that they spend their entire life learning or creating or, you know, becoming an expert in. And it seems like that is her spell, is necromancy. Bro, I don't know, not necromancy, sorry, control. So that is rad. That's not the way that I thought it was going to go. I thought it'd be more like mind control where she could control living people to do whatever she says. But it seems like it's more so her being able to control maybe the dead. I know that they're probably about to explain it. I know. I'm just glad that at least some part of it was correct. So his grandfather, granted, his grandfather was absolutely put on those skills. So her skill... It's called the Skill of Obedience, I believe. Puts the mana of one person, the target, and aura, on the scale. And whoever has the more mana, oh my god, I know what's going to happen. I'm 100% calling this. It's so obvious. She's going to try to use it on Frieren, or Frieren's going to use it. I don't know if it's locked to the person or if it works with other people have the skill or what, but Frieren's mana and Aura's Anna, who the hell is Anna? Aura's mana and Frieren's mana is going to be put on the scale. Frieren's going to have more mana, and she's going to be able to control... what's her name? Aura. Sorry, dude, my mind is all jumbled today, by the way. I'm just, like, anticipating it, dude. It's... God damn, my bro got a thick-ass arm. Is that his arm or his thigh? What is that? Bro got something thick there. Oh, that's his arm. My god, that's a big-ass arm. That is a big ol'... What do you call that? A forearm? Jesus, dude. Bro got a forearm like Hulk. That's what definitely going to happen, though, dude. Aura and Frieren are definitely going to put their mana on the scales, and I bet you Frieren's going to have higher mana. But, sorry. I got on a thing. If that is correct and that's how this goes, man, oh my god, that's gonna be so good. Okay, but now that Granite's kind of explained everything, I think what ended up happening here is his grandfather was put on the scale and they were compared, and now that is why they had the granite necklace, or the granite family necklace around the guard's neck. If you remember, whenever we saw a bunch of the suits of armor, and it seems like that is kind of the case. So I guess over the years, or during the initial fights at least, she took the mana from a lot of the targets, a lot of these guards who were fighting her and members of the military or the guardsmen, and took them and put them on the scale. And obviously she's going to have more mana because, well, you know, obviously. I'm assuming they're all magicless, or the guards are all... You know, they don't use magic or have any type of, like, mana pools, I'm assuming. God, that's so interesting. Oh, that's so good, dude. I'm so excited. Okay, let's continue. This is getting really good. Oh, but that does remove another of my theories, by the way. So if you remember, I mentioned that the necklace that Granite, the Graph Granite was wearing, I said that would probably control the magical barrier. That could still be the case, but now it just seems like that's just a family heirloom that is maybe used to control the people of the town. So maybe they'll see that necklace and be like, oh, this person is associated with the Granite family and has rule over these lands, or has some type of, like, hierarchy so the people will listen to them. I don't think it actually controls the magical barrier. Maybe it does to some extent, but now that we know more, that necklace is now associated with every member of the Granite family. And my guess is that it's just that, right? It probably doesn't have, like, imbued magic. I don't think. I could be wrong, though, obviously. Bro, Frieren don't even got to attack, dude. She don't even got to attack, dude. She's just... So the only way that she can be defeated, essentially, is if the other person has more mana than she does. And that makes a lot of sense. Okay, now let's say that I'm right about Frieren and Aura comparing mana, and obviously Frieren having more. That is my guess, and I think that's really cool if that happens, because that showcases just how much powerful Frieren is than Aura and just other mages. But now here, he's got me questioning it, if that's going to happen, because Granite here says that hasn't happened in 500 years of someone having more mana than her. So why didn't Frieren do that, 80 years ago? There must be a downside, or there must be a reason. I know Frieren probably thought it through. Or it could be that maybe back then her mana wasn't as powerful. Maybe she thought. Maybe that's why her and the... I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Now I'm second guessing it. I don't know. We'll see. A lot can happen in 80 years, you know? So I had this theory before that I removed from an old episode about maybe them being based off the 7 deadly sins. But since I learned about the 7 stages of destruction and corruption, I thought maybe it was like one title with 7 of them because of the 7 deadly sins. Maybe it's still correct. Maybe there's still 7 deadly sins, but each one has 7 in it. So it'd be 7 times 7, so 49. So maybe there's 49 sages, and then there's like 7 categories, and they're the 7 deadly sins. Because destruction and corruption are technically, one could be what, corruption could be what, like greed, maybe? And destruction could be what, wrath, I think? You know, and there's also a bunch of discussion on what the 7 deadly sins even represent, right? Because there's a bunch of different 7 deadly sins that can be correlated to certain things, right? So I don't know. I just want to throw that out there. It was a theory I had like an episode or 2 ago, and I didn't keep it in because I disproved it immediately. But I still think it is. Maybe there's some correlation there, possibly. The whole reason I bring all this up, I'm curious how the hierarchy works. Obviously, there was the Demon King. So how does the Demon King, who I assume was slayed, or Sloan, when the Demon King was slew, who decided who were the 7 sages of whatever? Who decided the hierarchy? Like, who is the new leader of the demons? Is there a new leader of the demon? Why is it not Aura? Why is it not Qual, right? Well, obviously Qual was sealed and Aura had her powers essentially stripped. That's kind of what we know. But like, how does the hierarchy work now? You know what I'm saying? It's just it's a weird thing I'm trying to figure out. I'm just trying to wonder how she became a sage, right? That's all I'm trying to figure out. Like, what is the process of that happening or becoming a thing? And I'm also curious if, based on their hierarchy within the 7 stages of destruction or the 7 stages of corruption, is like how powerful they are. Because in my mind, if Qual is like the last one, if he's number 7, that means he's the weakest, and then Aura could be number 7, she could be the weakest. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of get what I'm getting at there. In my mind, a lot of times, you guys ever seen the old DVD screensaver that pops, you know, hits each corner or hits each like edge of the screen? That's pretty much how my mind works. When it hits the corner, you guys know the corner, the legendary corner. When it hits the corner, that's when it snaps for me, you know? It does not hit the corner often. So even if they don't necessarily have more mana or more powerful mana, they can still, if they have a strong will. But it only worked for a time period, huh? It was only temporary, but we know for a fact that even though it's temporary, it does still happen, and they may resist for a time period, but they still are ultimately, in the end, taken over, and we know that because we saw the Granite family necklace around that guard, or the suit of armor, so we do know that it eventually happens, at the very least. It may just take longer for some people, or some targets. Cutting off their head? I'm guessing that's what happened, because not all of them are headless. That's my guess. No, Frieren got a haircut. That was kind of cool looking. I'm gonna look at that again. That was actually kind of sick. She's essentially dispelling it, right? That's just cool how like the colors were. I don't know, the way that it went to like a negative color, like on the actual armor, and then immediately like it was kind of removing this. Oh, that's so cool. I love the colors that they choose here. Like, it's such a good representation of what's happening. This tells me that every single demon that Frieren has fought, she's created some type of remedy for. With Qual, they reverse engineered Zaltrok to be able to use it as a demon killing. They used it as demon killing magic, right? They essentially reverse engineered it to turn into this more powerful demon killing spell. Aura, Frieren learned. She may have already known beforehand, but this is just from my perspective. We may learn later. But at this point, she learned how to dispel the army and bring them back, not bring them back to life, but she learned them. She learned how to dispel the magic that was keeping them bound. And I wonder if she learned that after fighting Aura the first time all those years ago. That means that everyone she's fought and hasn't been able to defeat or didn't defeat for some reason, she potentially created some type of solution to the problem for every... Dude, she's like Tony Stark, basically. My God. I wonder if she remember... You know what? Now that I think about it with Lügner, now I have some beef with Frieren as well. Because, sorry, now I'm back on why Lügner didn't remember Frieren. Why didn't Frieren remember Lügner? Because they stared at each other, dude. Like, How did Frieren not remember Dude, I got beef with everybody at this point. My god. Okay, I'm sorry. Frieren is forgiven, though, for obvious reasons. Lügner, on the other hand, he just plays with his little blood or whatever, dude. Who cares what he does? Bro should have remembered. I feel like it's a little different for Frieren, though, because she probably saw a million demon faces, you know, in that one day, right? On the other hand, Lügner only saw one face blasting away his brethren and sisterin, you know? So I feel like it is different, but at the same time, you know, I don't know. Frieren is amazing. So not only did she learn a solution to the problem, like I was mentioning before, because she had a feeling that maybe she would encounter them again, it's what Himmel would have done. It always comes back to what Himmel would have done. There's just got to be more with him. I know that we saw little glimpses of Himmel, but I gotta believe there's more with him. You know what I mean? Like, more than the little glimpses we've seen. He's such a big part of the story, yet we know so little about him. Does Frieren love him? And you guys know what I mean when I say love, right? Because the way that she acts, we haven't seen it, obviously. We haven't seen any glimpses into their love, quote love, but it's just the way that she acts, the way that maybe it's just respect, I don't know, but she said that she's basically aromantic in a way, right? Kind of. She explained it a little differently, but from what we learned, she's a bit aromantic, a bit asexual. She doesn't feel the same way that humans feel towards each other in the same emotional way. But in my mind, like, maybe it's not love, maybe it's a different type of emotion that is similar to love in a way. I think it may be respect, but also maybe some form of compassion. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it's as simple as love, dude. Oh, okay. Let me continue. Let me keep going. Very cool so far, though. It's really cool how Frieren is coming up with these solutions, though, especially against Aura, and then because Himmel scolded her apparently, and she just decided that it was better to create a spell that was less flashy, or not flashy. That's not the right word. Less destructive. Oh, she should not have said that. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Bro, she shouldn't have said that. Oh, she done messed up, dude. Aura should not have put his name in her mouth. She should have learned to close it and not do whatever the hell she just did, bro. She just screwed up. We saw what happened with the Einsam when it literally just made Himmel appear. Aura, on the other hand, you can kind of tell that was not a, like, I'm sorry for your loss type of... She should not have said that. She's done. It's the end of her. Put a gravestone where she stands now. Is that Stark's father? Bro, we've been trying to figure... No way. Stark's dad revealed? Yo, that should be the title with like a thumbnail. Like a mystery or like a mystery mark. A question mark beside Stark and be like, Stark's dad finally revealed. Oh god, dude, I would get so many dislikes, but dude, people would hate this video. Oh my god. For a good like full 60 seconds there, I was thinking Stark built a whole dialogue going off like a goddamn hero to fight these demons. Bro literally made Fern shut up. He turns around and he goes the completely different direction than I thought he would go. But I should have known. I should have picked up on it because he wasn't shaking. He wasn't scared. So I absolutely should have picked up on it. But did I? No, I did not pick up on it at all. Instead, I believed him and I thought he was finally overcoming his fear a little bit. I don't know if this is going to come up later, but the church also has an extra protective barrier around it like the town. There is a separate one inside the town, I guess. I'm assuming the church is inside the town, so... Not sure if that'll come up later, but... It is there. Here, what is this angle, dude? What is... Dude, this zoom out. Kind of agree. That is more of a realistic strategy. I mean, we saw how they handled him before. Now, no offense to Stark or Fern, obviously. They just, you know, they don't have the same power that Frieren does. That is an obvious, true statement. At this current point in time, I can confidently say that's true. However, from what I've also seen, I don't think that they would struggle as much as they think. I think that if he had a little bit more confidence, and I think if Fern was able to give off a stronger attack, maybe. I also have this theory about Lügner as well. I thought about this last episode, but I don't think I said anything. Can he die because of his blood clotting the way that it does and he uses it as a weapon? And he also mentioned at the end of last episode, if Fern would have shot Lenny, she would have died. Am I tripping on that, right? You guys get what it, like, can Lügner actually die? Because if his blood is technically his magic, then does he have a heart maybe? That'd be my guess. He probably has a heart or some type of like weak spot that could kill him. But I assume anything that just makes him bleed does not kill him. Because we see here that he can, or we saw that he could lose his stomach or at least his arm or something and still live. It can be put back together. We can build him again, you know? Anyways, okay, continue. Alright, they got Granite's necklace, by the way, or the Graf's necklace, so the guards will listen to him now. Oh, so they are going to go with the plan. So Stark is leaving. Okay. I honestly thought Fern would try to convince him otherwise, but I guess not. Fern makes some of my favorite faces, I think. Her and Frieren have made some of my favorite faces, I think, so far since I've started watching. You know what? Me either, Fern. Me either, dude. I've seen so many warriors in so many different places, right? Like, I went to Kansas. No, I've never been to Kansas. I don't know, dude. Dorothy's been to Kansas, but I haven't. Where the hell was that going, dude? I mean, that's not true, technically. I feel like after an adventure, you know, Fern, I feel like, bro, you know, after he fought that dragon, right? He could go get some ale with the dwarf homies, you know, and talk about his adventures. Is that offensive to say dwarf homies when I'm talking about an actual dwarf, right? Eisen's a dwarf. No, it can't be. It can't possibly be offensive to say dwarf homies. Am I gonna get canceled for saying Like, I should stop saying it. I should stop saying it, right? Like, just play. I'm just gonna stop saying it. Oh, okay. Wait. I forgot about this. Okay, I forgot about this. I think Fern's about to realize it, actually. Lügner has a GPS in the blood, right? He can track the blood. I completely forgot about that. I should have remembered that. I'm sorry I didn't bring that up in the recap, guys, but that's right. So Lügner is able to track them, and I think Fern has realized it too. How did I forget that? My god. Okay, I think Fern's about to recognize it, though. She gonna cut off his arms? What the... Stop, everything stop, slow down, go like, god damn it, dude, that turned into the Flash in like 2.3 seconds, whatever, dude, Jesus, okay, so they realized that the blood, how did she not realize that before is what is kind of in my mind. Is it possible that inside the church, maybe it's not detectable for some reason? I don't know if that's it, maybe it just took her, maybe she has to focus on the particular thing to be able to detect mana in it, kind of like, it makes sense though, I completely understand it, but my god, dude, Lügner and just out of nowhere, holy shit, dude. Out of nowhere. I did not expect this. Okay, she's okay. I had to pause there to see if she was okay. She got hit in the shoulder. Oh my god, though. Out of nowhere. And of course, there's Lini with her god... Oh, she got a staff now. Oh, so the whole time that she had the little ball, it wasn't like shadow magic. It was like kind of like how Frieren has her staff. Alright, I don't want to pause here. I want to see the actual action. Wait a minute. Let me watch this. Lügner v Fern right now and Stark v Lini. I'm excited. What? Is it possible that Lini fought Eisen and is now copying Eisen's movements? Maybe? No. That seems too far-fetched, right? I was right, though, about his blood. So it looks like his arm and side is now turned into blood, maybe? But it matches his... So if it was just his arm, I would think differently. I would think that, you know, if it was just his arm, then now his skin and stuff. But he's matching his clothing, too. Now, it could obviously be soaked in blood, but that wouldn't make sense if it grew back, right? Am I tripping on that? So it didn't grow back. He just replaced his arm and his stomach with blood, but it didn't actually grow back the skin on top. But why would his blood copy... Okay, I'm sorry. Am I getting too into this? I'm getting... Yeah. You guys understand what I'm saying. I just feel like if he grew it back with blood, it would be his arm. It would be his bare stomach and arm, and the clothing would be ripped. It wouldn't be... You know, it wouldn't just copy the clothing if the... You know what... You know? So it should be bare. You guys get what I'm saying. Oh, so Lügner knows how to control his mana as well to conceal it. This probably not the same as Fern, but in a similar way. That's interesting. Okay, I assumed that was something kind of specific to Fern, being able to do that as well as she did it. But I guess now we're kind of seeing that there are just as powerful mages on the demon side. So that's kind of cool, actually. Any demon? What? I guess that makes sense. Is Fern a demon? No. Because then my comments would be filled with people talking about how much they hate Fern, right? Is that why Fern's emotions are so... Is that why she gives off such a vibe of being distant? There's no way that she's a demon, right? I think I just turned everything into Play-Doh with how stretchy this is getting. I'm gonna stop. Oh, That was another thing I didn't mention. Well, I mentioned it, but I cut it out because I thought it was stupid. I had mentioned that Aizen may have multiple students, and kind of with... I knew that Frieren didn't, but I thought that maybe Aizen did, just because, you know, just what he is. He's a warrior, and I thought maybe he had trained multiple people. It was a theory I had, but it sounded so dumb because we only met Stark, and in all the flashbacks, everything we've seen has only been Stark. So I cut it out, and maybe I shouldn't have, because maybe now it feels like it is possible, because Fern said that Stark is Aizen's best student, so maybe I should have left it in. That sucks. Okay, I should have left that in then. I mean, it could still be wrong, but now the fact that they're kind of making a little callback here, I wish I would have left it. It's okay though. But now we do have a possibility of there being more students, just Stark being the best one. Frieren said that all demons can hide their mana, but Frieren was able to detect aura. That means one of two things. Either aura was putting off mana that Frieren could locate, or aura was not... She wasn't hiding her mana, right? So she could locate it. Or that means that aura is unable to hide her mana. Maybe she has too great of a pool of mana, or maybe if she hides her mana, it causes her to lose control of the obedient things following. There has to be a reason why Frieren was able to detect it. Maybe it was just such a large mana presence in that one place that she was able to detect it. I don't remember her exact wording last episode, but, you know, with this episode, Lügner saying all demons can hide their mana, it feels a bit contradictory, but it may be just the wording that I'm not remembering. Or it could come up later. We'll see. He's talking in my right ear. This is very weird. I did not expect my anime to have around the world audio right now. But yeah, I was right. So if you kill a guard, it's basically execution. So I was correct about that. Pretty commonplace. I was like pretty sure, but we got confirmation, so that's nice. I like in the background, dude. We know what Fern's doing, dude. Bro's stupid. Okay, I gotta go back one sec. He mentioned something about Lady Aura. I assume he's kind of piecing it together. That's where Frieren is going. Yeah, okay. So he's saying someone like that wouldn't run. He's piecing it together. I just wanted confirmation because I didn't hear it completely because I was talking. Which, are you guys surprised? That's okay. So that answers my question a bit about last time why Lügner was only focused on Frieren. So it seems like he's more focused on Frieren because of his arrogance, because he doesn't think that they're powerful enough opponents to feed his ego. It's crazy that Stark picked up on that before me, if I'm being completely honest, because I thought it was more so focused on Stark and his insecurities. But now that I'm seeing the full picture, I do agree with Fern, and I think that makes a lot more sense. He has come off as arrogant quite a bit. I mean, you could tell by his clothing, bro seems arrogant. Ugh, I hate judging books by their covers, but his cover is covered in arrogance. You know what I'm saying? That makes a whole lot of sense. 100% it makes sense. Yeah, I'm crazy I didn't catch that, but one little thing I didn't catch is fine. That answers the question then, I guess? Frieren said that Fern is able to fire spells off faster than she is. I guess that makes sense, but I mean, that still doesn't answer the question on why they even need to take time in the first place. Maybe it's just maybe they're just going with that specific fantasy trope, and maybe it's not so much focused on something actually in the universe, but more so that fantasy trope being apparent to people who are, who know about the trope itself. Most likely. But that was an interesting look into it, I guess. I mean, we learned more about, I guess, that Frieren and Fern they did a lot before they ever met Stark, or to a certain extent they did things that maybe we haven't fully seen yet, but it does seem like they had some of their own adventures, which makes sense, obviously. It was, 2 years before they met Stark? It makes sense. Are they trying to see who's going to make the first move? I was about to say, are they waiting to see who pulls the first move? Okay, so your heart is your weak point. Okay, so that answers that. That's not what I was going to say, but that answers the question that I had before about demons, and if they do have a weak point. It does seem to be their heart, which is kind of what I had assumed. That is confirmation. Let's go. Okay, what I was actually going to say, one of my theories has now been confirmed, where I believe that Fern was going to surpass Frieren in some way, shape, or form at some point during this. I don't know how much stuff I threw out there that, she could potentially surpass her on, like what things. But we now got confirmation that theory was correct, and it has now been confirmed by Frieren herself that Fern has surpassed her, but in a very niche sense. It's not anything major, but it is in a way, right? So she surpassed her in the speed in which the spells can be cast. Maybe to a lesser extent than what I was thinking at that point in time, but I was right, so very cool. I just wanted to make a note of that here. Sorry, she confirmed that, but she was doing it to test to see if he would defend his heart if she went for that. So yes, we got confirmation with that. That's what I meant before, by the way. I should have said that's what she was doing. My bad. They've literally been sitting here staring at each other waiting. Look at her, dude. She's got the axe behind the back and everything, dude. They've literally been here just waiting. Okay. Wait, what? Oh, shit. I spoke too soon. Big yikes. I'm so sorry, dude. Oh, I shouldn't have said anything. That was pretty sick. I ain't gonna lie. That was pretty cool. So she used defensive magic to protect herself. She controlled the... Oh, then shot him. Oh, that was nasty, dude. Bro, she got the hexagon? No, Bro, she got the octagon. You guys know what UFC stands for? The Ultimate Fern Competition. Oh my god, the Ultimate Fern Combat. The Ultimate Fern Combatant. I don't know, dude. I don't know. All kinds of things. Fern can be thrown in there anywhere, dude. Of course, she's Frieren's apprentice. Of course, she's going to be amazing. Why wouldn't she be, right? I hope Stark's okay. I'm sorry. I let this fight get in my way. Is Stark okay? I hope Stark's okay. It kind of sucks that we didn't get to see any of his fight, but at the same time, I hope he's okay. Oh, that's a good point. She's able to cast spells quickly, but I bet her mana, because we learned that Frieren has better mana and technique, but she can cast her spells quicker. So does that mean that even though she can cast her spells faster, do they take less mana? Or is it still the same amount of mana? Or maybe it probably varies based on the mage's skill set, or the skill, obviously. But I wonder if her casting spells so quickly here during this fight is actually depleting her mana faster. Interesting insight you have. Okay, sorry, let's keep going. I'm never doing Yoda again. I like how in the Yoda voice, I literally gave myself a compliment. like Yoda's talking to me, dude. I think I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know, dude. It's whatever. Fern is cool. Yeah, bro is definitely not... He's not having a good day. That's interesting. So now he's asking for her help. I mean, he didn't explicitly say it, but it's interesting because before Linie said literally he doesn't like it when she interferes. So now we're learning that he actually probably needs her help. That may just show how powerful Fern actually is. To be completely honest, so far Fern has been my favorite part of this episode. This episode has been crazy. I think this might be the new favorite. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. This episode is probably tied for 6, if not surpassing 6. Absolutely, dude. Positively, dude. I loved it. Oh, dude, and especially like learning about Aura's thing and then seeing Frieren do those dodges, dude. Like, ugh, you know what I mean? Like, that was a good ugh, you know? I would say this one wasn't as lore heavy, but I think just like the sequence of events in this one have been very cool. Oh, I hate you, dude. I know, okay. So he did dodge it. Well, to some extent. That's actually kind of cool. That makes me think of the Matrix. You guys, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Matrix, but Neo has to like plug these things into him to learn how to fight, like do karate and like very specific movements. Oh my god, she's basically the embodiment of a mimic. She basically just mimics her target's mana. So she's basically just a mimic in like a demon form. That's crazy. I don't know. I did a horrible job a second ago, but my god, this episode's so good. Like, there's little pieces of lore here and there, but I don't know. Just everything about it has just been really interesting so far. I love episode 9 so far. It's great. I don't know if you guys put it together yet, but my favorite episodes are 6, 9. Who did she learn that from? Who the hell did she... Who is she learning that from, dude? Oh my god, your forger? What the hell? I wonder if she's copying Stark's movements at all. Oh, yeah, she is. Oh my god, I don't want to go back. I should go back, shouldn't I? Wait a minute, hold up. Okay, I'm thinking of last episode. I didn't notice this immediately. Now I'm hold up. She copied Stark's movement in the very beginning. When at the very end of last episode, Stark jumped over and the top of Lügner. He said, "He's fast." That's how she did at the very beginning of this fight. She jumped over Stark. I wonder if that's what she was doing by copying Stark's movements then and there. I wonder if that's what that was. I mean, obviously it's just jumping over somebody, but now that I'm thinking about it, the animation was so similar. It was so similar, dude. I mean, it's interesting that she's matching Aizen's movements here as well, but the fact that she also potentially matched Stark's as well, or 2, that's cool. That means she's very quick at being able to recognize the movement and then remember them and utilize them in combat. That's pretty cool. Linie's cool. So that means she's fought Aizen before and now they're fighting Stark. So that means she's probably at least, 80 years old? Whoa, wait, we're getting a little mini, slideshow? So if she was a kid 80 years ago, that makes her maybe 100 now, roughly? And then Lügner was I'm assuming this is in the time period of the war, because I'm assuming there was a war. I have to assume that now, because now that we're looking at this, there's swords on the bed or in the dirt. Remember Lügner standing in front of Frieren on top of the corpses? There was definitely a war. That's probably what happened, right? But it makes me think so if she was a kid back then, she didn't fight in the war, but Lügner did. So Lügner's probably 100 plus, while Lenny is probably like maybe 100, if 100. She's at least 80 though. It would be my assumption. And she didn't fight Aizen. She watched him fight. Okay, so she just watched his movements all the way back then. This is essentially Stark fighting Aizen right now. Or is this going to be like a moment for him where it shows that he overcomes his master's imitated movements, I wonder? Maybe not. But maybe this is like the first big obstacle that he... Oh, God! That is some words to live by, dude. I do like that trope. I know it's one of the most common anime, like, media, movies, whatever. Not even anime. It's one of the most common tropes in the world, I think. But it is such a good one. It's such a powerful trope to have, and I think it adds to any story. I really do. Some people get tired of seeing tropes. I don't. I know I don't get tired of it. I just, if I see the same thing in every single movie or whatever I watch, I don't hate it. I mean, it's just one more thing you can connect with that character on and understand. And that way if you understand how that person thinks and the characteristics, and you understand that trope is they embody that trope in their psyche or their logic, then you know what I'm saying? Like you have a better understanding of who that character is, and you can understand their actions better, you know? Basically, they're making fireworks in the sky while they're down there. Let's go, dude. That is really loud. Let's go, though. Bro, he actually did it. She mana particles. No, I hate you. My new favorite episode is 9. I'm not saying anything more than that. It's my new favorite episode. It's no longer 6-9, it's now 9-6. Holy shit, dude. I was not prepared for any of that. So we had the whole thing with Aizen, and then, goddamn, Stark getting back up. Him realizing that the blows from Lenny weren't as powerful as Aizen. She was just imitating the movement. Her hitting him in the abdomen, him just taking it like a god dang tank, dude, and then just ending it. Bro said he was scared, but he was prepared for them both to die. Oh my god. And then Fern, using Zoltrak at the last second, just eradicating Lügner with no... Bro, she didn't run out of mana. She waited for the moment to put all of her mana into a single massive attack. And even then, she probably didn't run out of mana because she was still flying. So that means she didn't dispel enough mana where she would fall out of the sky. Or maybe we didn't see it. Maybe we're going to see it at the beginning of episode 10. But my god, that episode was so amazing. Frieren was there. She didn't even fight Aura, dude. I don't even give a shit about the Aura fight at this point. I do, actually. I care a lot. I'm not even like, it's not even in my head right now. It's just, it's so... cool, some of the little details we saw, like Lenny imitating the movement of Aizen and both Stark. I'm almost positive though Stark's movement multiple times there, from during the fight and at the beginning of the fight. And on top of that, we saw like Frieren fighting the dead guards and immediately recognizing at least one of them. The other two had necklaces on. Maybe I don't remember them. Maybe we saw them. I don't remember, but we immediately saw the necklace from Granite's family necklace on that one guard, and I bet you that was his grandfather. Oh my god. And then Aura learning all about her weapon. That's such a cool weapon with the obedience skill. Bro, she literally said she would kill Aura with no mercy. Stark and Fern were so scared they didn't think they could do it, but god damn it, dude, they did it. They pulled through. Yeah, I'm not adding anything else to that. It's gonna taint it if I do. I'm just gonna say something. I don't have any theories. God, I can't even think straight right now. I need a break. Dude, that was so good. I was so enthralled the entire time. Like, I don't even think episode 6 did this to me. I've never been, like, the whole time I've watched this, I've not sat here and been like, just like this blown away. Like, that was just so good all around. Like, everything was just so good. Thank you guys for watching. You know I appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. It helps me out a lot. Really helps push that YouTube algorithm, you know what I mean? No, but it really does. And we've been growing really well recently, and we're getting really good views on the videos. It's really amazing. I want to appreciate everyone who's watching the Frieren series. You know, obviously I have other anime that I plan to watch in the future, and I do hope you'll stick around for those. Okay, I'm going to say this though before we end this. I didn't get any new theories from this. I absolutely did not. Maybe I should have. I mean, I threw a few like little ones out there, but nothing in my mind was like immediately like that is a big theory that'll happen, or that is 100% something that'll happen, or like as a high possibility. Like I mentioned some things, but nothing in my mind nothing in my mind where I was like, yeah, that's no doubt, you know? I think this one was just really cool in terms of the lore drops and in terms of just the all around showing off the powers and the abilities of all those involved. I do think that's it though. Have a good day, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching.